for architect leaders, how to use frameworks and methodologies effectively. Today's leaders are architects of their organization who play a critical role in their organization's digital transformation. They understand and apply concepts in business and technology to guide the future of their organization. My videos generally speak to this audience. Let's talk about frameworks and methodologies. I'll use a simple example as an analogy to illustrate. When I did my PhD research, the work and conclusions had to be presented in a specific structure so that research across universities are somewhat consistent and comparable. So we had a structure to include parts like problem introduction, prior research in the area, the research itself, the essence of the new idea, the data, the analysis, the conclusions, the bibliography, and a whole lot more. That's like the framework. To complete the research and actually get a doctoral degree, I had to go through many steps that involved identifying and formulating the problem, doing the research, gathering data, talking to other researchers, attending and presenting at conferences, gathering material, and a whole lot more. That's like the methodology, which are activities to fill out the framework. In the business context, a framework is like a structure, while a methodology is the process to fill it out. A framework tells you things that you need to consider, and a methodology tells you how to go about doing the work. For instance, a business might use a framework of the business model canvas to define and understand its business model, while employing the lean startup methodology to test, iterate on, and pick a model that best suits with the current technology and business climates. Examples of frameworks include Balanced Scorecard, which provide a framework for performance management, or the SWOT analysis, which provides a framework for strategic planning. Examples of methodology include Agile, Six Sigma, or Scrum that provide specific processes and practices to achieve the objectives. Digital transformation is a big deal. It often involves millions, if not billions of dollars, and many perspectives to be considered. These perspectives include strategy, operations, customer, technology, culture, skills, data and analytics, security, financials, compliance, change management, leadership, innovation, vendor, risk, globalization, sustainability, and a few more. Digital transformation is a journey. Leaders should continuously frame the overall digital transformation vision, goals, and strategies, and then help to drive the detailed execution along these different perspectives. This means that you have to have multiple frameworks and methodologies within the same context that helps to accomplish these different goals. The key is to understand how they all interrelate to drive transformation. Consulting companies, academia, and research organizations may have driven multiple transformation projects over time with their clients. Since much of the work is common across these projects, over time, they have learned to do things better and internalized these learnings and created frameworks and methodologies which they can then apply to the next project to accelerate that transformation. Some of these organizations have publicized their frameworks and methodologies to an extent that it increases their own brand value. They sell the brand and that value as part of their transformation pitch to the client. Sometimes the frameworks and methodologies are not distinct but merged together as one unit. For example, the Blue Ocean Strategy Framework says that companies can succeed not by battling competitors, but by creating blue oceans of uncontested markets. The methodology provides a systematic approach to finding or creating the new market space. Other examples of frameworks include the PESTEL analysis that include and cover political, economical, social, technological, environmental, legal, for companies to assess the market growth or decline. Porter's 5 forces that helps business analyze the competitive intensity and attractiveness of the market. Examples of methodology include design thinking that takes a user-centered approach and perspective in creating products and services. The agile methodology that started out in software but is applied in business for iterative development to increase agility and so on. Frameworks and methodologies can accelerate digital transformation by providing a structured approach to planning and implementation of the transformation, reducing ambiguity, and providing a clear roadmap. They include best practices and lessons learned from numerous organizations and experts to avoid common pitfalls. They provide a common language and understanding that facilitate better communication among stakeholders. They help ensure that the resources are allocated effectively, maximizing the value of investments. They often provide a flexible foundation that can be tailored to the organization's specific context and need. Of course, there are drawbacks as well. They can be overly prescriptive and may not account for the unique aspects of the organizational culture, market position, or industry specifics. They can slow down decision-making and action because of added complexity and additional layers of bureaucracy. Organizations may become too reliant on the framework or methodology, leading to a lack of critical thinking or creativity in addressing business problems. Proper implementation often requires significant time and resource investments. There can be an overemphasis on the tools and processes of the methodology rather than achieving actual business outcomes. Obviously, frameworks and methodologies are very helpful if you can pick the right framework to solve the right business problem. Adapt it for your specific needs, be flexible, and continuously assess their effectiveness. You can also create your own internal framework if required. As a leader, you are the architect of the organization. To do your job, you obviously need frameworks and methodologies that will accelerate your digital transformation journey. If you enjoyed watching this video, please consider subscribing. For a one-page visual summary of this and all future ones, please sign up on my mailing list. Thank you very much for watching.